Hello, Leonardo. I'm Mrs. Flanagan, Vice Principal here. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, it is really an honor to have with us today Leonardo de Almeida. And if any of you from last year might remember that last name, it's because Leonardo is the cousin of Fernanda de Almeida, who is currently still studying in Brazil, and she's entering medical school. So Leonardo is going to give us, yay, yes. So Leonardo is going to tell you quite an extraordinary story, I think. I'm like Mr. Naylor, so looking forward to hearing this. Leonardo is currently in university. He will graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration with a specialization in marketing. Who knows, Leonardo, you might end up working for Miss Elliott. You just don't know. Mr. LePay, you will be happy to know that he has completed and won the gold medal of the Brazilian Economics Olympiad. So here is someone who is familiar with your special language of numbers. But in reality, it's not because of numbers, I think, Leonardo, that you're invited here today. It's because as an individual, as a young person, absolutely in the center of one of the most dramatic COVID-19 pandemic battles there in Brazil, you have a special story for us, and it's about your individual initiative. So given the philosophy of our school and the value that we place on service to each other, our school community, and to the communities surrounding us, I think yours is a story that will resonate with our students, with our teachers and staff, and the philosophy that the school functions by. So thank you so much for being with us, and I'll just pass it to you to share your story.
Okay, thanks. Thanks to everyone to be here. It's a pleasure to me. It's my first time talking inside a presentation in English, so I'm sorry for any mistakes, but I'm very happy to be here. Now I'm gonna show my screen because I prepared some slides for the presentation. So
Great.
Okay, can you see?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, serving right risks populations during COVID. First of all, I want to tell something about me. I'm 19 years old. Fernanda is my cousin, but for me, she's like my sister. She's an amazing person. I know that you know she. Uh, I live in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is the biggest state in Brazil about population and the richest state too. But Fernanda lives in Manaus. Manaus is here. Brazil has 26 states, and there are a lot of difference between one to another. It's like United States. And I'm studying business administration at University of Sao Paulo. I had a meeting with Nancy, and she told me a lot of things about the school, and I told she about my experience during the high school in Brazil, and it's totally different. Why? I know that at Canada and United States, it's very important the things you do at extracurricular activities. It's very important to participate in a lot of groups. It's very important to do volunteer work, but in Brazil, it's totally different. Uh, in Brazil, the only goal is to be accepted into the university, and to be accepted into the university, the universities don't care if we are a good or bad person. They only want to know about our grades. So during my high school, I tried to create a, a reads group or to make volunteer work, but for our principal, And for the teachers, this was not important. They only say, oh, this is a waste of time. You have to study like 12 or 14 hours a day to be accepted into the university. The universities here in Brazil, the best universities are public, so we don't have to pay anything to study. It's totally different to the United States or Canada that you have to pay a lot of money. I don't know a lot about the school system in Canada, but in the United States, I know that they have to pay a lot to study during the university. In Brazil, we pay a lot of taxes. It's very expensive, the taxes here, but the universities are free. But we have a different problem. It's very difficult to be accepted into the university. For example, USP is my university and is the best university of Brazil. If the acceptance rate of the medical school of USP is less than 0.5%. It's really difficult. After the high school here, some people like I don't know, 70% of the people goes to another school. It's like the name is cursinho. It's like a preparation center for the tests to go to the university. Some people spend like 4 or 5 years in these preparation stations. So it's really difficult. My course, the acceptation rate is like 7 or 6%. Okay. And for the test to go to the university, we have two big tests. And then it's for all the country. We have 2 days of tests and we have 180 questions and one essay. It's about all the subjects: philosophy, sociology, math, chemistry, biology, English, Portuguese. It's really difficult because we have less than 3 minutes to do each question. And we have FUVEST. FUVEST is only for USP. USP is not, it's from the state of Sao Paulo. The state of Sao Paulo create USP and USP is the best university here. And we have a different test called FUVEST. FUVEST is it's the most difficult test that we have in Brazil. We have two elimination states. In the first day, we have 90 generation questions. It's like a name, but in the second stage, we have 2 days of test with specific questions. For example, I'm studying business, and during the FOVEST, I did the questions about math, history, geography, and one essay. Why I'm talking about that? It's because you have an amazing opportunity to do volunteer work during the high school. Here in Brazil, we can do this. And we really want to do this, but we don't have the support of our teachers and the principals, and we don't have time. So enjoy your high school and do a lot of volunteer work because this is amazing for your life. It's amazing for your learning, and you're learning a lot when you are helping people. You will learn, in my opinion, you learn more than only studying at school. But the university in Brazil is different. We have much more time for to do volunteer work. So, for example, this is the building of my university. Is the University of Business Administration and Economy. And here is a photo of the all my university. It's like a city. We have drugstores, we have restaurants, we have a lot of like the medical school, the law school. We have a lot of sports. It's really cool. And for example, you can buy a meal for less than $0.5, and so it's very very good for us. And we have several groups that do volunteer work inside the university. For example, the medical inside the medical school, they like help people go to the hospitals and help and donate. They donate blood, for example. In the economics and business administration school, it's a little bit different. For example, one activity that I do and my friends do, it's go to poor communities or public schools to teach about financial, how to save money or to invest money on stocks or I don't know, and that's very good. But now let's talk about the pandemic. You all know the world is inside the pandemic, but Brazil is in a very sad situation. Brazil has had more than 350,000 deaths caused by the coronavirus. Yesterday, we lost like more than 1,000 friends. In the last week, we lost more than, I think, 10,000 Brazilians. So it's very sad. And now we are in the worst phase of the pandemic here because we don't have enough vaccines, we don't have good politicians, and most of the Brazilian states have now restrictions of mobility, and our health systems in some states are collapsed, totally collapsed. Now I'm gonna talk about Manaus. Manaus is here, yeah. São Paulo is the richest state, and it's here. Manaus is the capital of Amazonas. Amazonas is the biggest state in Brazil. It's near the Amazon forest, yeah. And Fernanda lives here too. Manaus has always had an inefficient and insufficient health system. My aunt that died like I think 5 years ago, and the situation in the public hospitals 5 years ago was terrible. It's like a war zone. For example, we had shortage of masks, of doctors, of nurses, of food, of anything. It was a terrible situation. Terrible situation. But this was before the COVID. Before the COVID, the system is like near to collapse. So imagine what's happened when COVID went to Manaus. In 2020, we have the first wave of the pandemic, and like in 1 month, Manaus collapsed. We have a lot of deaths, uh, and people died because, not only because they COVID, they died because they can't go to the hospital, they can't have enough medicines to take. So probably if these people was in the United States or Canada, they would be here today. But now they are dead because we don't have enough and efficient health system. But after the first wave, the situation uh, becomes better, and but in January of 2021, a new variant of coronavirus emerged in Manaus. A new variant is more contagious and more strong. Like in 1 week, the situation becomes a total collapse again, but was terrible, terrible. I was in Manaus during the January, and every day, for example, every day we lost like 2 or 3 friends. Every day, for example, um, my mother received calls in the smartphone, and she starts to cry because she knows every call is a note of a friend or a family that has died. So was terrible. And you have to know Manaus it's so poor. It's totally different to the United States or Canada. People here like works today to buy food tomorrow. They don't have any money in the bank. They don't have money to buy food. They really have to work during all days. But during the collapse, we have a lockdown. So a lot of people didn't have food to eat. Yeah, was very sad situation in the hospitals and in the house. And in difficult times, we have to act to try to solve the problem. During these months and these weeks, I was in Manaus and I have a strong anxiety. And I was here in my house and I was very afraid because I lost a lot of friends. My mother lost a lot of friends. We saw every day. We saw the websites and it's a lot of photos and videos of the hospitals and was like a war zone. Maybe the war zone was better than the hospitals during these months. And I decided to do something to help people because was very difficult and I was in a difficult situation because I can't go out of home because I was in lockdown, so it's difficult to help people staying home. But this is the situation, and we have shortage of essential products. For example, we we some hospitals during the second wave they didn't have water. Really, they didn't have water for the medical staff or for the patients. They didn't have food. They didn't have masks. Imagine if you are a doctor and you have to work during the pandemic and you don't have a mask. It's it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. It's like a joke, but it's the situation in Brazil during the second wave. They didn't have thermometer. They didn't have oximeters. They didn't have medicines like I don't know Tylenol for pain, and we had the new and more contagious variant. So I was very afraid to go out of home to try to help people. But I had my knowledge obtained at the university. Yeah, and I know a lot of things about marketing, logistics, and I have the social medias, Instagram and WhatsApp. WhatsApp, it's very strong in Brazil. A lot of people use. I know in the Canada, the people prefer to use Snapchat or Instagram, but here we use WhatsApp for other things. And that was my way of helping. What I did, I recorded some videos uh, talking about the situation here, and I posted on social media. Why I did that? First thing is to warn about the risks of the new variants, because all the televisions, all the websites in Brazil are in São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro. So they put more attention in these states. But the situation here was terrible, and people in São Paulo, my friends in São Paulo, they are living okay. They don't know about the situation. So I learned about the risks of the new variants, and for example, I sent this video for some influencers on Instagram or for my teachers because they are very influent here, and I asked for cash donations because I couldn't ask for donations of masks or I don't know food because it was impossible to go to to have these things and to give for the hospital. So I asked for cash donations, and I did the videos too to press for help from other states because São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Brasilia, that is the capital of Brazil, they were in a better situation, so they could donate like oxygen masks, and I made these videos too to press for the politicians of the states or for the rich people from the states to help us. Yeah, the knowledge of business and was very useful. And what I did with the money, I I received a lot of money. It's not a lot for the United States or for Canada, but for here it's a lot of money. It's like $1,000. Now this is like 6,000 reais. But and I called for a lot of restaurants and drugstores to negotiate better price for the things. So I called for a lot of restaurants, a lot of drugstores to buy food, masks, and equipments for a better price. and I bought like a lot of meals, a lot of masks, a lot of equipment, and I searched for contacts like for nurses or for doctors to know which hospitals need more meals or which hospitals need more masks or which hospital needs everything. And yeah, I bought these things and I called for the restaurants. Oh, you can you buy like 100 meals and you have to deliver these meals to this hospital. Yes, and during 1 and 2 weeks or 2 weeks, I did this every day. I saw the money I have at these days. I negotiate the price and say, oh, you have to go to this hospital because I know this hospital needs more today. And every after donation, I take photos or I send a message for the nurse to take photos inside the hospitals, and I put these photos in my Instagram. This was very important because people from a lot of states and people who didn't know me donate money. So it's very important to show that I received the money and I actually buy the things I and didn't like steal the money. And these are some photos about the donations. Yeah. Here's are the medical stuff with the meals, with the equipment, and every day that I donate, I receive a lot of messages of the medical staff saying, "Oh, I'm very happy about the meal. Was very good. The taste. Your thanks. We really needed these equipments. Now we can do a better work." So I was very happy about that. More photos, yeah, and yeah, these are the results. We donate more than 180 meals, a lot of masks. We impacted more of 200 people with donation to 5 different hospitals here in Manaus, and we received donations from the 5 regions of the country, the north, the south, the west, and we received a lot of money. We impact a lot of people, and I was very happy because I did all these things, uh, staying in home, stay safe, and only use my knowledge and the social medias. So this is very important because you all can do a lot of impact inside our homes. Only use the things you have, like the Instagram or a computer or your voice. Nowadays, we can do a lot of things staying home, and this is for me. This is very impacting. So now it's open for ended questions. I really want to say sorry for any English mistakes. And here are some contacts if you want to send a message to me in the Instagram or an email or to add me in the LinkedIn. It's everything here.
Well, thank you very much. That was an amazing presentation. Does anybody have any questions about how you can help?
Mr. Naylor, if I can request, if we can all unmute and give a big round of applause.
Yeah, that'd be great. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Leonardo, for sharing.
So I think, am I unmuted, Kareem? Mr. Rushdie, sorry. Yeah, I think that it's a really, for me, it was a really inspiring story because as Leonardo mentioned in the beginning, that we're very fortunate to have Nancy Campbell Academy and to be able to do service. And when you come from a situation where service is not promoted, it takes extra courage to step up to the plate and say, I'm going to do it, regardless if no one else is, if I'm alone or whatever, I'm going to do this. And I think the thing that was really impressive to me, I don't know if anybody else has other comments, is this Brazilian spirit that I love so much whenever I visit Brazil, that we do not give up and we keep trying, and no matter what. And it's such an example of an individual can make a difference. I think, Livia, you're there somewhere, are you? I think Livia's family also has done some pretty amazing things, and I'm sure others, but it's a very nice story that a young person is using their academics and their personality and everything to do what they did. Thank you, Leonardo, for being our guest.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
So Leonardo, one of the moral capabilities of Nancy Campbell is to initiate, to learn about initiative. And people in wealthy circumstances almost often become convinced that a system or a government or something else is going to take care of it. And very often it quells individual initiative. And you were in a situation where, you know, almost nothing could work, but that didn't, you know, stop you from trying to figure out how to be helpful. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. How did you go from feeling powerless to feeling empowered?
Okay. The state, the government in Brazil, it's very inefficient. We pay a lot of taxes, but we have to pay 2 times for every service. For example, we pay for the public health systems, but if we want to go to a good hospital, we have to pay for the private system too. We pay 2 times for every service. For the school, we have to pay the public school and the private school for everything, because we have a lot of corruption, and we have a lot of poor people. So some governments only, for example, give you food or money and say, "Oh, vote in me," and people really vote in this person's only for like $5. Yes, this is the situation here. But I think this is a good opportunity for the entrepreneurship. We have a lot of entrepreneurs here, and they create a lot of amazing things for us and try to solve the problems, because here we just can't wait the government to give us the solution, because if we wait, we're gonna, I don't know, die, or we will not study. So we have to do the things, and this is bad, but I think this is good too, because we learned a lot. Yeah, if you see Brazilian people in Canada or in the United States or in all parts of the world, they are trying to work a lot. They are trying to change their lives, and I think this is good. We are a population that works a lot and try to have a better life. We wouldn't only expect the state to do the things.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question for you. When you first started calling places, did you get nervous? Like, were you a little afraid, like maybe the restaurants won't want to help or something like that? And if you were feeling nervous, how did you push yourself past it?
First of all, all the restaurants wanted to help me, because for example, the situation for people here is difficult, but for the entrepreneurs here is difficult too. So during the pandemic, a lot of restaurants and stores broken. A lot of big restaurants and stores broken too. So we helped the restaurant too. We bought like a lot of meals, and this restaurant is still open just because we bought these meals. We 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 wouldn't bought these meals, they had to fire people, and the restaurants now probably gonna be broke, but we help the restaurant too.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing. And we have a question from Emily. Go ahead, Emily.
Well, it's not so much a question, but I just wanted to say that like this is very, very inspiring. I think during the pandemic, especially with young people, like there's this kind of wave of learning of like different problems, whether it's like in our own countries or in different parts of the world. And I think that it can get very overwhelming to see that there are like so many systems that are failing. And it can leave people with a sense of like I don't know where to start, like I wouldn't know what to do or like how to help. But something just kind of as simple as reaching out to the restaurants in your community or just in your city and saying like I'm trying to do this and this and this and I need this from you, and in return like you'll get that or whatever. Like I don't know, it's very inspiring. And yeah, but thank you for coming and sharing that with us.
Thanks. One thing that I learned during these activities is if you want to make something for your life or for the world, it starts tomorrow. Because if you make a lot of plans, so one day when I have money I will donate, or one day when I be older I will donate. No, not start tomorrow. You're gonna change a life tomorrow, and that will be great for the world tomorrow. So during the station here I was thinking, maybe this wouldn't work, or maybe the people only will like but will not donate any money, but I tried. If you try, you're gonna learn a lot and you help a lot of people. So if you want to make the difference, don't wait, do tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have Ma'am Mary as well. Go ahead, Ma'am Mary.
So good afternoon or evening. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming and sharing, and your story was really inspiring. I had a question because I know firsthand how difficult it is to see your people suffer. Because I live in a community where people make $1 every day. And like you said, they make money today for food that they have tomorrow. So a lot of people in my community and close to me suffered a lot during the pandemic. And I grew up seeing all of the gaps and the corruption inside our government and people taking money for themselves. And even like close family members of mine, like my little cousin, have passed away because of lack of medicine in the hospital or lack of simple medicine. And then it's very difficult to make that switch and see people wasting money or wasting food when you know firsthand that people are suffering. And you actually said something that my mom always says, like, if you teach people about service from a young age, there are people dying today and there are people suffering today. So if you say, when I'm rich, when I have a car, when I have a family, that day you'll just keep pushing it and pushing it until you make the changes to help people. So I know firsthand how difficult it is to serve, because at times when me and my classmates at Starfish would be serving, people would laugh at us or heckle us or be like, do you guys think that you're like the slaves of other people when you're just trying to help? So what are some of the struggles that you faced, or people saying things to you or to your family members, if you did any?
I know it's difficult, and thanks to show the situation of your community too. And I think that's very important to have this space to show the problems of the other countries. And thanks for Nancy or for the school for us to have this space. And this is very important because here in Brazil, some parts of Brazil like São Paulo, I live in São Paulo. They don't give for us the space to talk about the problems in Manaus or in another state. They only talk about their problems, and it's different problems. And thanks for having this space in Canada and for students all over the world. It's I'm very happy to be here.
Did you find people made fun of you for your efforts, or did they support your efforts? What about your peers? Did your fellow youth think that you were crazy, or did they think you were doing good stuff and supported it?
Yeah, all my friends and all my family supported me because yeah, they saw the situation was very difficult. And some people in Brazil still thinking that coronavirus uh, doesn't exist, or they can just don't use masks, or they can use like one medicine and be healthy. But after I showed the real situation in Manaus and to show videos of people dying because they just don't have oxygen, they supported me and donate money, so was very good.
I think maybe what May Mary experienced was a little bit more, Leo, like you had in high school when you're not really encouraged to do something. But as you got older, and the thing that I thought was so interesting about what Leo said is he used his education, he used his skill set to be able to negotiate. He talked a lot about entrepreneurship, and he's a big believer in entrepreneurship. And this is a social economic development project that you did with your experience as entrepreneurship. So maybe it does get a little easier as we get older in the types of support. But what May Mary is saying, I think exists a lot even in Canada, because we have a foundation called the Brandy Elliott Projects, and often kids would come to join, but the only way they would stay in the meeting is if we had somebody meeting them at the door saying, we welcome you, come on with us, and we take them right along, because the peer pressure was so strong that, like, why are you volunteering? You don't need to volunteer, let's go out or something, you know? So I certainly think it's pretty amazing what Starfish does. That's Starfish, Leo, is a school where May Mary is from. And where, Gord? Sorry.
In the Gambia.
In Gambia. So I think it's really important to recognize as youth and as young people that it is everywhere around the world that we experience the problems to different degrees. And this is a very good example of actually that we are capable of actually saving lives, like saving lives. It's pretty significant.
Yeah, you don't need to save the world. You can only save like or change one life. That's enough. That's great and that's beautiful too. So we don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm in a better situation than another people, so I can help these people too.
Yeah, in the Baha'i faith, I was thinking we have a commitment to all of humanity as part of our religion. Service to humanity is our religion, truthfully. But our approach now is being directed to our neighborhoods. Because I think when we think about the whole world, it's easy to get totally overwhelmed. It doesn't mean we wouldn't help other places if we had the means, but most people don't have the means to go and help everywhere. But we all have the means of making sure that our neighbors aren't starving or our neighbors aren't lacking things if we're connected to them and if we care about them. And I don't think the big problems are going to be solved by looking at a world collective idea, but more like what you've done, which is to think about your community and how can I support people that are doing the important work and what ways can I utilize resources. So you used a lot of your, as Nancy was saying, your entrepreneurial skills to think, what are the social issues facing my community and how am I going to do something about it, instead of thinking somebody else is going to do something about it, or it's not my business, or why do I care? So congratulations.
Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful example. I hope I hope you're able to influence more and more of your peers to see the value and the worth. I'm sure the workers that got those meals certainly felt that.
They patients as well. I just wanted to say that Leo has asked to join. Like, he would like to hear more from the junior youth empowerment group. He'd like to be invited to some things. He'd like to hear more about it. And if there is any meetings that anybody in the Nancy Campbell community thinks that Leo would benefit from attending, he would like to come to junior youth empowerment. Fernanda told him about the religious influence at the school that she thought was very, very positive, and he's interested in learning more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Holly, maybe you want to say something about your experience in China with working with the community.
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Just like, do you have any, what's going on in China now for initiatives or ideas? We've heard something from Africa, something from South America. I think it'd be good to hear, how are the youth thinking about these things in China? How to be helpful for work?
Well, it's the pandemic here in China, so I mean it's not that serious now, but I mean I still haven't got contact into many youth here because the Baha'i youth here in China it's actually only a small number, and and so we just haven't been into contact much, but I have been doing book 1 and book 2 with some of the youth here. It's only a small number, but when I was in Beijing, I was doing a study group with 2 friends. They were university students, and it was actually pretty good. We had a very good time learning about book 2 and just discussing different topics about life and death, about the Baha'i faith. So it was actually pretty nice to be talking to two new students who has never heard Baha'i before, and then we just started book 1 like that. So that was a very great experience. And I think a few months ago I also started a book 1 with some of my sister's classmates and my sister. So it was my first time as a facilitator, so I facilitated them book 1, and at first I was just nervous. I was very nervous. I don't know how I'm going to teach them book 1 because I only did book 1 twice before, so I was actually not sure how I would be a facilitator, but my parents were encouraging me and just encouraging me to try it out and see how it goes, and it actually went well. The junior, I think, they were junior youth. They were actually participating and sharing their ideas and just willing to learn about the new concepts in the Baha'i faith. And I'm really glad that they got to learn about that, because not many youth or junior youth knows about this faith. So it was a really special experience.
So part of that, just Leonardo, so you're aware, is there's these books that, like book 2 is about how to be of service in your community and how to take concepts that and ideas that foster the kind of work you're doing, which was, begin a conversation about how to be of service, how to do things in your community, and how to understand those concepts. So the junior youth program tries to get junior youth who are 11 to 14 beginning to think about how to be of service to their community, so they don't just arrive in high school then saying, oh, what do you mean service? I don't know anything about what you're talking about, or the issues you brought up at the beginning, where it's seen as something totally unimportant instead of something very important in our lives. So that's what Holly was doing with those groups. So, but we will certainly remember you and bring you into those, let you know when things are happening. so that you can join and be part of discussions and activities if you're able, whenever you're able, and we'll see how it goes. That's wonderful. Thanks so much for coming and sharing with us your project and the things that you've achieved. And if you want to, I was thinking when you started that obviously this is not something that's over, it's something that's still going on. And so if you send us anything, we can keep our students informed about what you're doing, at least sending information. And then who knows, maybe they'll be able to get some support for what it is you're trying to do there in Brazil, because I think we can also, through each other's work, help in different parts of the world besides our own neighborhoods. So certainly let us know if there's things that we could help with.
And in the future, his mom and his aunt are very excited to host Nancy Campbell for a World Citizenship Tour. They have many facilities to host, and they want to take us to visit many schools.
Great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonardo, for coming and giving us the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for all, and bye-bye.
So we just have a few devotions, right, Mr. Rusty? Yeah.
Yeah, we have Benny Lushaguri, who's going to close us off today with some devotions.
Just quick before Benny, just a reminder, tomorrow will be mentor meetings, so just make sure that you are in your mentor meetings for 11:35. Thank you.
Okay. God of justice, peace, and righteousness, come into our midst this evening, this day. Breathe your breath, your spirit of prophecy, your energy, your enlivening, your imagination on us. Wake us up, open our eyes, unplug our ears that we might hear, that we might see, that we might grieve, that we might dream, and that we might follow the ways of your extraordinary kingdom.
Thanks, Benny. I'm going to say one as well. I'm going to say a prayer for unity. I was very inspired by everything you shared, Leo, and how you created a space for many youth from all over the world to connect about service. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily thou art their helper and their Lord. Now, Leonardo, can you say something for us? Can you say, make a great day?
In Portuguese, Leonardo. Say it in Portuguese.
Ok. Faça dia melhor.
Yay! Woohoo!
Thank you, Leonardo.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Leo.